everyone, Sharon here from I Restore Stuff, the blog where you can find out a lot about painting furniture, restoring and upcycling things, and I love to craft, make signs, I love to upcycle and stencil things. So here I am as an ambassador with Essential Stencil, ready to show you another project that we'll be working on today. If you are watching the replay, you can comment the word replay for a chance to win a $20 gift voucher from Essential Stencil. But if you're right here live with me, let me know where you're tuning in from, and join in the conversation, because at the end we'll be giving away to 3 lucky winners a chance to win a $20 gift voucher from Essential Stencil also. So here is the code you need for today. I Restore Stuff will get you 10% off. You can use that any day. You don't just have to use it during my lives, okay? So 10% off everything in Essential Stencil's shop. But today I also want to be showing you the Stencil of the Month Club. And you can use that same code, I Restore Stuff, and get your first month free on the basic plan, or, first month free, or 50% off your first month on the premium plan. So, hello everyone. Hi Kathy, Joy's here, Bobby's here, Joyce Ann's here. A few of my regular faces I'm seeing here, so that's amazing, that's great. So let's get started on our project today. I want to show you all about the Stencil of the Month Club for April, okay? So we always come on here on Essential Stencil's page to remind you and to let you know, to let others know who may not have joined the club yet, what's coming up. And you will love this one. We've got something new, and so I wanted to show you how to use it. And we've got masking stencils today. Have you heard of masking stencils? So we're going to be masking out some words and some spaces to create words. It's a lot of fun. You know that Essential Stencil has layered stencils, so that makes your stenciling job easier. So this is another thing just to make your essential stenciling easier. Oh, I do need my mic. Thank you so much for reminding me. I love it when you guys help out here. Getting myself organised. I was in a bit of a rush this morning, and that's when I tend to forget these things. And trying to organise the puppy to not make any noises. All right, so let me see what we've got here. I can see your comments coming up on my laptop. And we're good to go. I did want to show you this little board that I'll be using today. So I'll show you some painting tips for that. It's just an A-frame sign board, and I've painted one side in a chalk paint or a chalkboard kind of look. I just used Fusion Mineral Paint's Coal Black to paint that side of here. So I can show you some painting tips if you'd like that. If you do want to use Fusion, I've got a 10% off code for that. You just need to use the I Restore Stuff code at the Fusion Mineral Paint shop, and I've got a link for that, which is in my description of the live as well. Hey, everyone's saying hi to Olive, our little cavoodle puppy. Okay, so the Stencil of the Month Club for April. We've extended it too, by the way. So usually, we start to show it on the 14th, but we received our stencils a little bit late as ambassadors, so we'd like to extend that. So the window is open. You've got a few days left, I think, a couple of days left in the week to be able to join the Stencil of the Month Club. So share this live out, sprinkle the love out there. It is verse of the week, scripture of the week, faith, but look at these patterns right here. Aren't they adorable? There's 2 different patterns on the stencil set, and I'll show you that in a minute. Plus I'll show you the add-on. You might have seen that already shown this week via Amanda and Melissa already. So the masking, I'll show you exactly how that works, so don't stress about that. I'll show you what we've got. We've got these large stencils. Now, I saw some of the girls have been cutting these out. You can do that with this stencil because they're really separated there. We've got a little prayers for, gratitude for. That would make a great thing, and that's what I want to do on this sign here, is create a little board where you can just chalk in underneath those headings. And then we've got the cross there. So then it also comes with these 2 patterns, and that's how large your patterns are, probably, so they're, half a 12 by 16. So you can fit those there. And then the last sheet, so every premium plan comes with these 3 large 12 by 16 stencil sets. So we've got Then Sings My Soul, and these are the words we're going to do the masking with. And I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And then we've got this beautiful loved John 3:16 down the bottom. So these 2 sets will also come with, so your set will also come with these funny little blobs. Look at that. So these are masking stencils. and these will mask off the words, and I'll show you exactly how to use them to create a bit of a space in your pattern. So watch closely, you want to tune in for this so you don't miss how to use your Stencil of the Month Club. Let me know if you're a club member and you're in the club Facebook group. Maybe you're not in that yet, but you're still a club member. Let me know in the comments and what you think of this set. We also have the add-on. We always have an add-on which is optional for the Stencil of the Month Club, and this time it is a beautiful cross. And so we've got the cross there with the roses, and then a plain cross there that you could use these for a few different things. And of course we show you on the back how you can mix and match them with the actual set. So we've got the words loved down here from John 3:16. Let me just quickly show you the basic plan. So the basic plan, I did a little demo on my Facebook page, I Restore Stuff Facebook page. I've got that over there on how to use these masking stencils also using the basic plan. So the basic plan will come with 3 sets and the masking. So we have the pattern, just one of the patterns. So the basic plan will just use elements of the premium plan. And then we've got the 2 sayings in a smaller version. I'll show you how much smaller they actually are than the larger one. Oh, actually, is that the same size? It's not. It is slightly smaller. Yes, it is slightly smaller. So that's the basic plan. And then we've got the 2 masking stencils for the words. So if you wanted to jump over on there, but we are going to demo that today. You can see those on my I Restore Stuff page at I Restore Stuff. You can follow me there for some more fun ideas. All right, yeah, the patterns are gorgeous, aren't they? I'm not sure where to start today. What I'm going to start with is a couple of painting tips. So let me show you our board that I'm going to be using for one of the projects that I'm going to use today. And I'm using Fusion Mineral Paint's Coal Black, which is a lovely matte colour and works beautifully as like a chalkboard, any kind of chalkboard design. So I've done the front, but I wanted to show you some painting tips just on the back here. For those who might be curious, maybe you've not done a lot of furniture painting, you can use these tips for painting furniture, painting signs. Now, the Stencil of the Month Club set today, you won't get 10% off, but you'll get, I forgot to bring my little paste over here, but it's the same code. You'll get savings off the club if you join this week using my code. So I've got a brush here that I've got some black paint on that I've used already. I just wanted to show a little demo of painting. And so see how I've painted that side here, but I've got no drips on the edge. So we want to avoid any dripping off the edge. I'm going to leave those raw on this. And this sign, you can find a similar one in my Amazon store. I've got a link for that if you wanted that. I've got an Amazon store shop front thing with all different ideas of things that you can stencil on. So, showing you this too. So I've dipped my brush in. See how we don't need to take the paint all the way up to the metal ferrule of the paintbrush. And I've wiped one side off. So you'll see I've got paint on this side, no less paint on this side. What I want to start with is the paint side. And the key to not getting drips off the edge of your piece is to finish on the edge. So watching, I'm going to start sort of from the middle and come out here to this side, and all you're doing is going off the edge, and we lay it at a 45-degree angle. So my laying on is like this, 45 degrees. So I just thought I'd add every now and then these painting tips because I think people find that helpful. Maybe you'll learn something today. And then I go off this way on this side. So if you're going off, we're not pushing the paint too much. We're not pushing it down. We're not, otherwise it would flick the paint everywhere. So we're just going nice and slowly at a 45-degree angle. I would describe that as laying the paint on rather than pushing it on or smearing it into the surface. So I'll go through that again, dipping my brush in, wiping one side off. Then I start with the top side where I've got most of the paint. So I flip it over and I go off this side first and then come back and go off this side. And I always finish off with a nice smooth long strokes for a less brush strokes on your painted finish. So I hope you've learned something today even about painting, and that way we don't get any drips down the end of our board. So we're going off the ends and not starting, we're not starting on the ends. So I'm glad you find those helpful. Yeah, Rhonda says you tend to get it on the sides. Yeah, so if you want to watch the replay of how I did that, now this time I got some paint on the brush and I'm just going to go off this way, but always finishing off with nice long smooth strokes. Now these ends of the wood, I will probably have to go down this way, but I do like to go with the grain. So see how I'm still going off the edges like that, and then I come, and again with this part here, I kind of go at this angle, and then in my finish I'll do a nice smooth stroke there. So let's go again on this, and this way we're not getting any of the paint on the edges. I want to go off the edge, but then I want to finish with the grain, so we'll go nice long strokes like this on those edges. And so that's just one coat. So coal black is a really, Fusion Mineral Paint has really good coverage, especially you know, these solid colors, and some of their whites. If you're using a brighter white, it may take a few more coats, but some of their off-whites have really good coverage. So that's one coat there. I've done 2 coats on the other side. So I'll set this aside to dry. If I need to, I'll use my hairdryer in a minute. And let's get started looking at our Stencil of the Month Club set. So it's a different set this time. With the first time, Essential Stencil has these masking masking stencils. Yeah, if you need my Fusion Mineral Paint affiliate link, use the code IRestoreStuff and I'll give you the link and you can get 10% off Fusion. All right, I'm actually going to use the black cardstock today that came in the stencil set. So of course we've got our set all displayed on the back there. I want to use the pattern for this one. I'll set that one aside. I've got my 2 masking stencils for my 2 different words. Let me just show you those. Now you need to make sure you put your words up the right way when we're doing this. So this blob or set of word masking goes with this one, and this one goes with this one. If I have it over like this, it's not going to fit. So you look for that C to match the C here. That's what I did anyway. And that's our masking. These are going to mask our pattern, and all will be revealed in a minute. So I'm going to do 2, one here and one here. Since I've got the 2 patterns here, let's do that. So one way of doing it is to put your masking, your words masking. Oh, I feel like I've got that upside down. There we go. Because I like the way these, this kind of comes like a bit of a circle there. Let me move that across. So I've got my cardstock. I could move them across a little bit actually, so that I can cut down the middle, not of the stencil, but so I can cut the finished product and make it. Let me just do that to start with, I think, because I want to have 2 different signs here. I'm going to actually fold my cardstock in half, make a mark. If I had my cutter here, I would use that. Actually, I've got my ruler. Just laying that right where I've folded. And I'll make a nice scoring line there so I can cut it. I do have a proper cutter, so it might not be exact, but if it's going in a frame or something, it'll look nice framed and you won't see these edges anyway. So that's all good. All right, so we've got 2 pieces of cardstock. Now I can do 1 set of images and then I'll do the other. So I'll do a couple of different ways. I did show these. Oh, I don't know if you can see that tape. My dog got a hold of this tape last night and she's chewed some little bits of it. I didn't notice that earlier. I caught her with it. Oh well, it still works for this purpose, right? Might have some little dog marks in it. I really like these florals too. All right, so we're working on 2, but we'll do them 1 at a time. So I'm centering the design to the stencil, to the board, the cardstock here. I don't have, I can tape this down a little bit on the side. I'll just actually tape it to my surface that I'm working on. Now here's where our masking comes in. Okay, so for this stencil set, for this one, I'll use this Then Sings My Soul. You could cut these out also if you wanted to. I'm just going to leave them as is. So what we want to do is for our masking is to lay that underneath This is one way of doing it. You could lay it underneath or put it on top. So I'll show you put it on top afterwards. And that's going to create a bit of white space in our floral design. So it helps a little bit that I've got this underneath. So you can see that. Oh, you can see it better from the video camera than I can in real life. That's actually good. All right, so I want to do some nice bright colours. I'll use this beautiful yellow for a bit of fun. I do have a pink there, but let's just go with a bright yellow colour. And let's see. I'll use one of our stencil brushes. We have a cardboard to offload our paint onto, and I'm just going to use this yellow that's in the lid here. We'll offload that. So what I'm doing is masking those areas where the words are going to go on top, and you'll see a nice white space ready for that. Now, because I can see this stencil under here, I don't have to go over the top of where that masking stencil is. I just want to make sure that anywhere there that I can see black cardstock, I want to make sure that I get those spaces especially. So yeah, cardstock is a great thing to practice your stenciling on. If you're not confident with stenciling at all, you can use just a piece of cardboard to stencil on, and that's great practice. So the key to practicing stenciling is to have very little paint on your brush. So that's why we use this piece of cardboard I have on the side here to offload my stencil brush. So again, anywhere I can see the plastic, I don't need to stencil there, but I can see a tiny bit in there, so I'll need to get that. I'm just going to hold on to that so it doesn't wriggle around. Dawn says, I love this idea. Can't wait to try it. I know, I can't wait for you to get these. So these will arrive about, I don't know, I think they start the shipping in April. I can't remember, so I won't say. But it's all on the information on the website, stencilofthemonthclub.com. That's where you can sign up. Don't forget to use my code, I restore stuff, and save on your first month. Let me know in the comments if you are brand new to stenciling. I'd love to know. I've never tried it before. Oh, you're welcome, Kathy. Sandy says the yellow should pop on the black. Yeah, that's what I thought too. Hopefully we're right. So if you've just joined us, we are doing a stencil from the Stencil of the Month Club for April, and this one's coming up, so don't miss out. It's a new concept of masking stencils. So at the moment, if you've just joined, I've got another piece of plastic under here, similar to this, to mask an area on the stencil, on the pattern stencil, that we will then put our words down on. So moving right around here, I want to make sure we get all of those bits where I can see underneath. The other day when I was doing my demo on my I Restore Stuff page, you can go and check that out. I was using the basic plan, which is the smaller plan, and I did it on white paper, and it wasn't as noticeable. I couldn't see where the plastic was and where the white paper was, so it does stand out a lot better if you have a different coloured background. You can kind of see a bit more. My paint is really drying out. I'm going to just dab that with a bit of moisture from my wet damp cloth, and that will help to wriggle that paint around. Okay, so now when we take this off, we've masked an area where the words can be put. I'll just pop this in a plastic bag so it doesn't dry out in case we want to use that again for something else in the next little bit. All right, so here we go. We're going to remove this, and what we've got is our pattern. Lay this down. Oops. And now we can lift up, see our masking stencil here? Now we lift up our masking stencil, and we have some, what they call in graphic design, I think they call that white space. So we've got some white space around within which we can put our words. So I will use a white to create the words in here. I just want to make sure that's really dry before I put my words on top. I do have my hairdryer here. You like this idea, Kathleen? Thank you, Michelle. Thank you so much for sprinkling. Did I miss a spot? I'm not sure if I missed a spot. Oops. We'll see, but I think that I got everything, because what's happening is we've now created with our masking stencil this space here. Whoops, this space here. Did get it up the right way. You've got to make sure that you have your masking stencil up the right way, because if it was over this way, it would not fit the words. The words would be only fitting back to front. So here we go. We lay that down exactly in the space, so you can kind of see where that space should be. And if you like, you can tape that down. And I want some white. I'm just going to use Picket Fence, which is Fusion's nice brightest white. And another stencil brush. Let's just use this little guy. This is a 1/2 inch. Vic says, this is so neat. I've never seen a masking stencil. Yeah, it's a great idea, isn't it? So I'm just offloading a lot of my white on here, and then we're going to do our words. Kathleen says, thank you, Essential Stencil, for another fabulous idea. That's amazing. We love that you're happy about this. It just kind of makes your signs kind of stand out at another level. I mean, if you wanted to, you could use patterns and word stencils in this same way from any of the other Essential Stencil sets, but you'd have to make your own kind of cutout masking area, wouldn't you? So it's a fun idea, though. Maybe someone's tried that before. I think we have done masking. I've done some masking before, but probably not as like this intricate and following the letter lines and things like that. I've masked general areas, you know, with maybe a piece of cardboard or something. But yeah. Okay, I'm using this white. It's getting down to the bottom of the barrel here. Yes, Vic. Yeah, you could try this on your other stencils, but you would have to cut out your own masking. You could use a piece of cardboard. You could use anything else. So yes, a lot of the patterns that Essential Stencil have are beautiful to try this with. So if you haven't got any patterns, you can just actually go to the search bar on essentialstencil.com and type in the word pattern in the search bar, and you'll come up with all the different patterns that they have available. Now, I don't want to accidentally stencil the word loved. If you think that might have been a problem for you, you'd tape it off so we don't accidentally get that. So this is how it works out, and this is the method of using the masking underneath the pattern. Okay, so I'll put that aside, and there you can see we've got that white space, and so it's not so busy within the letters. Okay, so that sort of stands out a bit better. You can see that masked area. Let's try that again over here on this one, and I'll do it slightly different, and I'll use the masking stencil on top of the stencil this time instead. There are a few different other ideas. I did try a third idea on my video that I've got over on my iRestore Stuff page. You can go check that out afterwards. Oop, I don't have another plastic bag. Might have to share. We'll share with our yellow here. With my white and the yellow together. Okay, so now we're going to use our second pattern. So we've got this one. So this is next month's Stencil of the Month Club set. And if you want to join Stencil of the Month Club, make sure you do that this week, because I believe this is the last week. We have extended the window for Essential Stencil's Stencil of the Month Club to this week, because we definitely want to demo these to show you before because a lot of times when we demo these, everyone's like, oh my goodness, yes, I'm in, for sure. I love this idea. So yes, you can do it over and under, Bobby. So I'm going to show you the over in a minute, right now, I mean. Okay, so I'm going to use this second pattern. There's a couple of different patterns. I've got two patterns, pattern ideas. Making sure I don't get my stencil in that. So here it is, and this one, I think it goes this way because it looks like, you know, the flowers coming up from the stems there. So I'm going to put it this way. I'll get that in line, add a bit of tape here, another piece of tape over here, just to tape it down. And now, instead of, so on this one, this design, this method, I put the stencil underneath. This time I'm going to put the masking stencil on top. Again, make sure you don't have it upside down because then your words won't come out correctly. So make sure we have the masking stencil over the right way. I check that by looking at the letter C here, and that fits the letter C on here. Okay, so make sure you've got it around the right way. So we make sure it's that way. And the only thing with this method, it probably is a better idea to put it under, although I did find that I could get this done a little bit quicker. But this way involves you holding it still. And so I think we'll use pink. See how our pink turns out. This is Rose Water by Fusion Mineral Paint. So we'll use that one. And just going to use this brush here. This is I don't know if it's a mustardy, no, not mustardy, mushroomy pink. Offloading. And now I'm going to hold this still. Now, the only thing with this is you can't really tape that down, so you do have to hold it fairly still. I'm going to go for the inside sections here because you can see there's little tiny areas where you might have to pounce the stencil brush a little bit. Oop, I see I shifted it. There we go. So maybe it is better to have it underneath. And you just want to get all those areas where you can see the black paper underneath. Okay, so just going all around our pattern now. Now that I've kind of filled in all those bits, I can just sort of relax, but go around, whoop, there we go, go around the edges of your masking thing. So see how it is a little bit trickier to hold it still this way. Underneath is probably a much better idea. And now I've got to take my fingers off it. See how it just keeps slipping around because we've got it, the plastic on plastic, so it's mylar on top of mylar, and so it's got that slip slidey feel about it. So just make sure you're holding it super still if you're doing it this way. So I'm going around this side. And again, I'm just using the black cardstock that came in the packaging of the Stencil of the Month Club set. But you could use any colour packaging. Just make sure you're using a nice contrasting colour for your stenciling that will stand out against the black. So if you're using, or stand out against the colour that you're going to use. So if you're going to use a really dark colour, trying not to lift my hand off here, so it's hard to try and offload at the same time. Yes, you could, Tracy. Roll tape under the mask if you do it on top. Yes, absolutely, you could do that too. So I would agree with Tracy, great idea, to just put some, roll the tape up and put it underneath to just hold it really still. Because right now, I don't want to lift my hand. Whoop. All right. I like this colour pink. Yes, they come in next month's Stencil of the Month. Maggie, I just use the painter's tape. So Scotch tape blue or frog tape, anything like that. You can even just use Scotch tape probably because you're just putting it underneath. But, you know, if it's going to go on a surface that's painted or paper, you want to use the painter's tape because then it won't tear or rip up your paintwork. Okay, so now I'm lifting off the masking area and we'll take off the top of that. Oop. So we can take our pattern off. And there we've got, you can see the space that we've created within the masking. Where is it? That's the space that was created for the words that we're about to put on now. So I want to use white again for those words so that they stand out. Let's grab our white brush. That colour was rose water. And then this is the white. Okay, so our next lot of words that we have just masked off for was this. And you can see this nice long line here. That's where I'm going to line up this nice long line here. Who strengthens me? And then you'll find that it lines up exactly where it needs to go, making sure we've got space here and space over here. And then we just look at the rest of the words and sort of line up where those spaces are with exactly where we need to put these words. Okay, so now I've got it down. I'm going to add a little bit of tape to this side, and I'll grab a little bit of tape for over here, and we'll grab our white paint, and then I'll show you our fun little chalkboard that I've started painting on over here. Where's my offloading? Here it is. So my cardboard to offload the paint. Good idea, Joyce Ann. Okay. Now we're adding our words in white. I'm thinking in my head of another idea that I could try after this, but let's see if that might work. I'm not sure if I've got another colour to... Maybe I could. See if I might have another idea, guys. I always work with you here and just run on the fly and think of other ideas as I'm working. So stay tuned for that. Thinking about it in my head as we stencil. Is anyone else crafting right now? I love to craft while you're watching. Vic said you've never stenciled on a black background. You're going to now. Love the look. I do too. It really makes the whites and the bright colours pop on a black background. It does look lovely. Now, if you do need to go over with a second coat, you can, but I'd rather go on with a couple of thin coats than one coat that's a bit too much paint on your brush, because that will often cause bleeding underneath the stencil and you get fuzzy edges on your stencils. We want nice crisp edges on our words, so, and our patterns. So less is best on the brush. We want to really, I call it a dry brush method, and that way we can swirl and rub the brush in and out. We've got our little verse down here. Remember, we don't want to stencil that word down there, but the stencils have got a fair distance away, or you could just cut your stencils out in this set. That would work too. Okay, let's see how that turned out with our masking stencils. So that was with the masking stencil on top, and now we've got our words there. See how there's that white space around it? You could do a more contrasting colour. I can see on the video it doesn't look as contrasting, but the pink in real life, it does stand out differently than the white. But yeah, you can do that. Now the idea I did think of, and maybe I will try it with this one, is just to add a little bit of a shadowy kind of thing I'll see if it works, huh? So to do that, I'm going to try using the actual mask here, and I want to have hardly anything on my brush, and because I'm used white for the words, I'm going to put that masking exactly where it was on these words, and I can see around about there where it was. Laying it down. So I'm laying my mask down. I have not tried this before, so hopefully it works. And I won't put any more on my brush, I just want to see. So I'm just going to create a little shadow around the edges using this brush that's literally got no paint on it, okay? I did not put any more paint on the brush, but it does have, obviously, you know, it's very dry brush is what I'm saying. It's not one that I would, it's less than I would use for even stenciling. So I'm just trying to create a bit of a shadow effect in those areas outside this. We'll see what happens, see if it works. So you can use that mask for a bit of shadowing. You can see how we've got a little cloud forming around the outside of our masking stencil. So I've literally got nothing else on the brush. I just pulled it straight out of the plastic packet, did not dip it in any more paint. And I am running out of paint on the brush, but I do not want a big, you know, swirl on here. I just want the bare whispers of paint. So let's see. And that does work. I think that stands out so much better, don't you think? Can you see that? See that little whisper of cloud on the outside there? What do you think? I think I like that idea. So here it is without the little cloudy thing, but then I've just kind of added that pop of white shadow around the outside of that. I like that idea. Guys, if you're just tuning in, we're looking at the Stencil of the Month Club set for April, and I'm about to show you this signboard. Now I can't remember if I did one coat or two coat on which side. I think that's my one coat side and this is my two coat side. So I will, look, it looks great even with one coat, you know, but I will do another coat on there before I do my other sign idea. Okay, so let's move these things along. This is the Stencil of the Month Club set, and we are showing you the last sheet on the club stencil here. Let me just get myself organised. I've got tape everywhere. Put those down on the floor so that I can... So these are the little masked bits. So that's new. Essential Stencil hasn't done masked stencils before. It saves you a lot of masking, doesn't it? If you ever have done that yourself to try and mask out an area. Okay, I'm not going to use that. So I'm going to use this is the third sheet of stencils you'll get in the premium plan. This part isn't available on the basic plan, but you could even use this idea for something like one of these boards in your kitchen as well. I thought you could use the verse of the week and let that hang in your kitchen. You can add some black chalkboard there, and you can either write the verse out underneath, or you could just write the scripture reference underneath. Scripture of the week, same thing. So we've got that on a similar thing on a board similar to that. So that's just one idea. I'm going to lay this down. So this is just an A-frame chalkboard sign. And on one side we can put prayers for, and on the other side we can put grateful for. So let's just do grateful for here. And then you can get the kids or someone, or you, can write all the things that you're grateful for and put that up there for each week. So let's just pop a bit of tape on the end. Now this is, I've just painted this in Fusion Mineral Paint Coal Black. It has a lovely matte finish, and I've used it so much for chalkboards. It's really good for that. So if you don't have Fusion, I do have an affiliate link there for you that you could use. I'm going to grab my white brush again. And I do have a little bit of paint left on here. So adding this. This is all in the Stencil of the Month Club set for April. So if you want to join the club, this week is your chance to grab a hold of this set. If you're already a club member, you'll be getting this next month. And so we love to demo it, show you what you can do with it, all the different possibilities. The brush is drying out, the paint's drying out. Got to add some more paint on the brush to my board. No, Maggie, the paint is Fusion Mineral Paint Coal Black. That's all it is. It's a lovely matte finish on that paint. So you get a nice dull finish like a chalkboard. And I do have an affiliate link for Fusion Mineral Paint. If you want that, you can use my code IRestoreStuff at the link in the description of the live. You just go to that description, or I think it's in the pinned comment, maybe. But if you need that, I'll give you that, and you can get 10% off your Fusion Mineral Paint. All right, so there we go. That's made us a cute little sign for the kitchen or wherever. So what I haven't done is I do need to do a second coat on the other side. Let me just grab my brush and I'll hit that with the hairdryer. Oh. Shelley's got a great idea. You could use Grateful For with the hearts on the branch from this month's stencils and fill the hearts with all you are grateful for. That is so good. So I think she's talking about the branch on here, maybe, the branch on the pattern for this month's. Oh, you mean this month's stencil of the month, maybe. So that is cute right there. The other thing that you could add to these are the some of the transfers. So I did think this would be great. You've got the patriotic transfers. Who's got patriotic ones? See, there are some of the patriotic transfers that actually have the gorgeous red, white and blue flowers. It doesn't have the flag on them, so they could be like an all-year thing. So beautiful. So you could put your transfers up on top there as well. That's another idea. So let me just, got some little flecks of paint or whatever on there. I'm just going to quickly do a second coat on this and let me check out your comments a little bit while I'll try and read them while I'm painting, although that I could. You can also add other words to this stencil, like grateful for my family. You could, yes, and you could make it an actual sign that way. And you know that Essential Stencil has surely got a my family stencil somewhere in our lot of stencils. For those of you who've been members for a long time, or you've been stenciling for a long time using Essential Stencils, you've likely got a bit of a collection. So just adding our second coat here and checking the transfers would be pretty. Oh, a good Thanksgiving project too. Absolutely. Get your thankful signs ready for Thanksgiving ahead of time. And this is a great one for that. I'm trying not to get this little piece of rope down there. So if you missed the beginning of my video, I showed you how to my best tips for painting furniture and signs and things like that, so that you don't get all those drips on the sides. Because you can see my sides here have no drips on them, and I'm just going to leave them plain like that. I'll just add this to my bag. Pop the lid on. Yeah, I love the idea of adding some transfers on these as well. For the family tree that had that idea. Great idea, Rhonda. Thank you so much, Lois, for sprinkling in Vermont. I love hearing where you guys all are watching from. I am in Australia, if you couldn't tell by my accent. And we're having a windy, rainy kind of, still summer, but it's turning into fall here. Evelyn, thank you so much for sprinkling, sharing our live. All right, don't forget to use the code IRestoreStuff if you do want to join the Stencil of the Month Club. You're welcome to use that and save. Oh, we've got our cross too, so we could even put the cross somewhere, you know, in the middle or on this as well. It would fit verse of the week. You could probably put that on the side and then write your scripture verse down here. There's those different ideas as well, but I thought these were great because then it leaves room for adding, you know, whatever words you want to put underneath it in chalk. You can get your chalk out and let the kids have some fun with that. Or just your own daily reminder. Have you got a verse that you're memorizing this week or something, you know? All right, where's my brush? Maybe it's got enough white left on it. I'll see. Prayers for. And then you can sort of, as the prayers get answered, you can erase those. Or send them over to the grateful side, grateful for the prayers answered. And I like this idea. And then we've got a nice gift idea or sign idea for the kitchen or the dining area, wherever it's a prominent area in your home, to add those fun things for the family. So there you go, there's prayers for and grateful for. I love that. So even if you were doing this for a Thanksgiving idea, you could use some of the Thanksgiving transfers or autumn or fall transfers. I'm not sure if there's any left at the moment, or stencils even. So you can add some little stencils onto that. Yeah, I love that idea. I think it's going to be great. So then you could even put, if you did, some of you, I know some of you are keen beans, and actually get the basic plan and the premium plan. So this is the small basic plan. I'm wondering if some of, like this little scripture verse, I wonder if that would fit on there. You've got the pattern you could put in the background, but then you wouldn't be able to chalk on it. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Probably not. Doesn't quite fit. Well, it does fit if you leave off the verse, but then you could put the verse somewhere else. It's a cute idea. You know, you can actually stencil with chalk. So if you wanted to be able to erase this, you'd use a bit of chalk and you could stencil on that. You could even do that. The other thing with chalkboards, I thought I'd mention it too, is to, I forget what you call it. It's to not prime, to burn, you know, like if you went to write on that immediately, the chalk would burn into the black paint. So what you do is you get a piece of chalk and you rub it all across the entire board, and then you erase it with a chalkboard eraser. And then you've got a nice, it's not primed, there's another word for it. Someone's going to remind me what that is. It's like you're treating the board or getting it ready for chalking so that it doesn't burn. Because if you notice, if you've got a brand new chalkboard, if you did do chalk on that right now, it would sort of burn those letters in, and when you go to erase it, you still see the letters there. So season it. Yes, I think that's correct. Yes, Alison. Thank you, Elisa. Season the board. Perfect. I'm so grateful for you guys. Grateful for our commenters today. That's what I'm grateful for. So you season the board using a piece of chalk, rubbing it all over. I turn the chalk sideways. Sorry, I don't have a piece on me to show you that right now. But you rub the chalk all over it, then you erase it with a chalkboard eraser, and that seasons the board or primes it. Oh yeah, chalk in both directions, Sandy. Good idea, but especially along that grain so that you're getting all the chalk into the grain. And then you erase it, and then you can write on your chalkboard. It does lose a bit of that bright black look, but it's a lot better than having those first words burnt in so that they never get removed. Alrighty, so guys, I think we finished a little early today, but that's okay. So don't forget, use my code iRestoreStuff for the Stencil of the Month Club. We showed you today, let me just pop this up and I'll show you what we showed you. Don't forget, you can follow me at iRestoreStuff on all of the different places like Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube. I've got tutorials over there for you. So as well as this little chalkboard that we created using the Stencil of the Month set, I showed you how to use the brand new masking stencils. And so it masks off an area so that you can print your letters in. And so imagine you can do that with any of Essential Stencils patterns that are in their regular shop or any that you have with Stencil of the Month Club. So you can just use any patterns. You don't just have to use the patterns that came with the Stencil of the Month Club set. And then we showed you a little bit of a shadowing trick using those mask stencils. So you can see that little white fuzzy blur around the outside. So we've got a little blur factor happening. So there's a couple of ways that you can use that. I hope you really get excited about that for next month. And if you haven't been, if you've like skipped a month or two and you're thinking, I should probably get this one, then go ahead and make sure that you grab it. So yeah, you are so welcome. Thank you so much. We are looking for some winners now. So let's see if we have our winners for Essential Stencil today. And don't forget, if you are wanting some Fusion Mineral Paint, I've got the link for that there. Just make sure you message me for that. I mean, or you can message me at iRestore Stuff on my page, or you can just put it in the comments. I do go back and read your comments to check out if you've got any questions. There we go. There's our winners. Let me see if they pop up on our pinned comment there. I could see them here. Let's see if I can just hit the see more. And we've got Alison, Lisa, and Annie. Alison, Lisa, and Annie. Congratulations. You have won a $20 gift card for Essential Stencils, so you can go shopping with and get whatever you like over on essentialstencil.com. But this is the stencilofthemonthclub.com, where you can also save using my code iRestoreStuff. So I really appreciate you all today. Thank you for helping me with my live, as always. And I will see you again next week, next Thursday, for another live DIY project. Bye.